Memories have a good way of just kind of slapping you in the face every once in a while, don't they? I scrolled upon a memory on Facebook today and it was talking about procrastination, and then it was like the long laundry list of things that needed to get done. Hi, I'm Amanda Ewers and welcome to Home and Healing, the podcast. Today I want to talk to you about the NESTS system. And I have two kiddos. They are in middle school now. And so I can tell you the NESTS system has literally saved my life more than once. So let me break it down for you. Let me tell you what it's all about and how that relates to the Facebook memory that popped me in the face this morning. All right, so the NESTS system. We've got nutrition, exercise, sleep, time for self, and I'm going to throw in another S, support. All right. See, this memory reminded me that I was procrastinating on getting my exercise. At the time when I was going through postpartum, I was exercising as part of my therapy, and I was finding excuses not to do it. Don't we do that when we're going through something that we are experiencing, whether it's hard, whether it's something that we don't want to do? And so this morning, as I am preparing and I'm getting ready and all these things, I'm realizing I was procrastinating again. There were things that needed to be done, and for some reason, they were kind of getting pushed aside. So let's figure out why. All right. In nutrition. How's that nutrition going? How are we fueling our body? Are we allowing our body to get the nutrients that it needs? And this is especially important while we are going through the prenatal stage, and it's also really important as we're going through the postpartum stage. Incredibly important if you're nursing. And then as you're aging, as you are growing as a child, like at any point in your life, nutrition is important. Now, I'm not a nutritionist and I'm not here to give you any nutrition advice or point you in any direction for supplements, but I will say that you need to be able to identify the things that make you feel good. I had a client once and we were talking about blueberries. That blueberries made her feel good. Blueberries made her happy. And so that was something that we made sure she incorporated into snack time. Because if blueberries make you happy and they're healthy for you, why not make sure you're getting them? And the really cool thing about blueberries is you can eat a lot of them. So if you're one of those people who really likes quantity, blueberries is a definitely great choice. All right. So when we're talking about nutrition, one of the things that I also want to point out is that if you are nursing, you actually need 500 more calories. But check with your physician and make sure that you are getting the adequate amount, because a lot of times when we're not producing, it can come down to the level of nutrition that we're getting. I experienced that. With my daughter, I had gestational diabetes. And so I had to closely monitor what I was eating and how it affected my body according to my sugar numbers. And I had to test those, every couple hours. And so I was really good about knowing where I was nutritionally. And when I started nursing, we had a really good system. She would nurse. I was producing just fine. 6 months, we just decided that we were going to discontinue with that and transition her over to bottle. No problems. However, when I was pregnant with my son, we didn't watch as closely because I did not have gestational diabetes. I had a different doctor. Weight was just not something that we were watching closely in that sense. And so with that, we weren't really watching my nutrition either. And then when it came to nursing, I wasn't producing as much, but but he also wasn't latching. In hindsight, I kind of look back at that and I'm going, was there something in my diet that was missing? And I beat myself up about it for a really long time, and it definitely contributed to my postpartum depression. Nursing is something that, as women, we feel that's something innate. That's something that we are supposed to be able to do, is to provide nourishment for our baby. And when we're not able to do that, it does cause a lot of feelings to come up. It causes us to question our ability. How come I can't do this for my baby? I brought in consultants. I had, all of this support around me, and yet I couldn't provide the one thing that I'm supposed to be able to naturally do for my baby. So I absolutely feel that contributed to my postpartum depression. Another aspect of that is, well, before I continue, there are people out there that don't have those resources. They don't have access to the extra care, the consultants to come into their home and to help them to be able to figure out, and problem solve, like, what is it that's going on and you're not able to do this. And so there will sometimes be, they checked my son's tongue to see if he had a tongue tie or something like that. And there's different things, but would that be covered if that needed to be taken care of? And so as I'm talking to you and I'm sharing my experience, there's also a lot of people out there that may have had that experience and not have the same resources. And so I'm very conscious of that. And I hope that I'm bringing awareness to you as well, that we have communities that are underserved in more ways than one. And it's affecting the next generation. It's affecting their children. And their children are our children. We are together. We're in this world. We're sharing this world together. And so we really should care about our neighbors and in the access that everyone is able to have. So with that, be grateful if you do have the resources, but acknowledge that there are people that do not. Okay? So let's move into the next aspect, which is exercise. And that is what my whole, slap in the face this morning was about, because I was procrastinating on getting my exercise done. And it was, okay, well, this is going on and this is going on and this is going on. And so it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to reach and go do all these other things instead of the one thing I need to do right now. And when we call it workout, it already has the word work in it. And people are like, I don't want to work extra. But what if we called this, fitness? Or what if we called this movement? What if we called this just getting my body into flow? What is it that you need to call it so that you want to do it? Exercise gives us endorphins. Endorphins make us happy. So we should do it. Now, it was part of my therapy. When I say part of my therapy, when I was going through postpartum, I had talk therapy. They wanted to try medications. And ultimately, we came down to, let's integrate exercise into your therapy and see how that makes you feel. And it can be as easy as putting the baby in the stroller and going for a walk, right? But what if we don't live in a neighborhood that has access to, a nice walking path to be able to do that? We have to consider that there are those people that don't have access to those things, okay? However, if you do, you should utilize them. You are so fortunate. We have in my neighborhood here, we have beautiful walking trails. And how ungrateful would I be to have access to these things and then not use them? And so if you have them, use them. They're there for you. A lot of people have, put in the work to be able to give this opportunity to you. So if you have a walking trail, get out there and use it. Okay? You don't have to have a baby in a stroller. We take my dog in a stroller, my cat in a backpack, whatever we need to do to get out there and enjoy those trails. So walking is great. It's a great movement activity that you can do, whether you're pregnant, you've just had a baby, or just anyone. And the NESTS system is designed for everybody. Everybody can incorporate these things into their life. So exercise, my recommendation as a fitness instructor is you want to do 20 minutes 3 times a week. Just get your heart rate up. And there's plenty of resources out there for you to figure out what your heart rate should be for your age. It's a quick little calculation. And if you have access to a smartwatch or something like that can monitor your heart rate, great. You should be doing that to know your rate of exertion. And there's lots more we'll talk about on the fitness side, but for today, I just want to tell you, get out there and walk. Get out there and move. Do something different that you don't do every single day. The next thing we want to talk about is sleep. Oh, it's so good, right? But when we have a baby, you know what we do? When they're sleeping, we're washing dishes or doing laundry or sitting on the couch on Facebook. No. We have to stop. Especially if you are having a tough time in transitioning, you have to ask for help. And if you're going to a friend's house and assessing what their home looks like and you're not helping, then just don't say anything. Okay? You have to lend a hand and not just come in and add more stress onto her. Okay? There is something about having your home in order. There are people that are going to come into your home and be judgmental. There are going to be people that expect that you have to live a certain way all the time, and they forget what it's like to have a newborn, or they've not lived that experience, and they haven't lived your experience. So I want to validate your experience. Now, we want to make sure that we have a safe environment. We want to make sure that we are not, drowning in all of the things that need to be done. And so there's resources out there. There's, Facebook Marketplace, neighborhood groups. There are mom groups where you can go in and anonymously post, I need help with this, and people will give you all sorts of different recommendations. I used a postpartum doula, or I hired someone to come clean my house once a week, or I have a friend that comes over and we go for a walk. Find someone. Reach out and say, I need help with this. If you're going through postpartum, sometimes it's hard to recognize the external that's going on around you because you have so much chaos that's going on within you that everything else outside is just stimulating all of the internal. So if we can find that support, which is our last S, that will be helpful. But we don't want to take away our sleep time to tend to all of these other things that need to be done. Now, babies take frequent naps. So maybe you schedule it out. You'll say, all right, this is usually the longer nap. I'm going to do, a longer feeding, and then we're both going to lay down. During the shorter nap, I might go do a load of laundry. I might go do some dishes, okay? But it's not going to be one of those things where the baby's down for the night, dad's home, I'm going to go veg out and do nothing, okay? If you are tired and you have not gotten sleep, you use that support that you're getting to get the rest that you need, okay? And this is for anyone. I have found myself where I know that I'm exhausted. I know that I need to go to bed. My kids are still up, and I'm going, go to bed so I can go to bed. You know what? They're going to be okay. Go to your room. Be quiet. I need to go to bed. Give yourself permission to take what you need. If everyone is safe in doing what needs to be done, you can take that time for yourself, especially if your kids are a little bit older. Okay? Maybe you call in a favor for a play date. Do an exchange. Hey, I really need a nap, or I really need to get some stuff done around the house. Is there any way that my kid can come play for a little bit, or you guys want to come over? And during the fall, what I love to do with moms groups is to have soup dates where you just come over and you have soup. It's amazing. All right. So last thing I want to say for today is time for self. We've already talked about support, how you need to incorporate all of those things. So the time for yourself, oh my gosh, you do have to have it. Absolutely. Absolutely. But it has to be for you. For you. What do you need to remind you of how amazing and wonderful and gifted that you are? I really hope that you do have a support system, that you can implement these things. And I really hope that any of this that you've heard today will give you permission to take what you need and leave the rest. Now, when we're going through this period of postpartum and we now have a baby in the mix, there's going to be a lot of challenges, especially if we're dealing with postpartum. Reach out. Take a little bit of time for yourself. Check your nutrition. Get out and exercise. Get some sleep. Carve out a little bit of time to just do something for yourself that's self-serving, that brings you back to who you are when it's just you. Because we get lost in motherhood and we forget, and then we're 40, 50 years old and we're trying to figure out who we are. So take a little bit of time today, next week, this weekend. What makes you feel good? If blueberries make you happy, eat some blueberries. Thanks for tuning in. Follow me, like, comment, share, and then follow me on my website, homeandhealing.com. And I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for stopping by.